Did it start? Oh, I think I started it. I missed 1 week and I forget how to do everything. Anyway, welcome to the Wildling Podcast. And I did not have an episode last week. I had fully meant to, but life happened. And I'm actually sick. So if I sound kind of nasally and such, that's why. Fun stuff. Sorry about that. But anyway, I'm gonna try to make this episode pretty brief, and the next one, wait, I don't know which order I'm gonna do because I'm trying to do two right now because my schedule is so busy that I might not have time to film next week. So anyway, one episode I'm trying this episode I'm trying to keep pretty short. So anyway, yet another topic that I feel like needs to be brought up more often, and that is the fact that not only does our healthcare system suck, and then good old US of A, and we all know that. If you live here, you definitely know that. Um, but besides that, women in particular, and I'm saying this as a woman, like I'm not going to speak for men, but I know my experience as a woman and having heard from other women as well and seeing their posts and things like that. This is not a unique to me experience. A lot of women are very, very dismissed when it comes to seeking medical treatment. And we're also, the shit that we have to go through is diabolical. Nothing short of diabolical. And we need a change. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm gonna complain about it. And bring awareness at least, and hopefully help validate other people that have gone through it as well. So basically, some of the stuff is being just outright dismissed. And it's like it doesn't matter what your symptoms are, they're still doing that old school thing of it being all in your head. But we've often heard that if a man went in with those symptoms, they are getting tests, they are getting treated like, oh my God, let's check this out right now. And also, we are still having trouble with getting the like any kind of permanent birth control because a lot of women want that option to be able to have permanent birth control. And yes, it is way, way harder on a woman's body than it is for a man to get a vasectomy, but that's a personal choice. If that's what she wants to do, she should be able to do that. And yet, still in this day and age, it's being met not with that, with the well, it is really difficult on your body. Let's maybe think about something. Mm-mm. Just what if your future partner wants kids? What if you changed your mind? What if even if your partner now doesn't want kids, what if that changes and your future partner does? Like, how is this a future potential man's decision and not mine about my body? We're the ones that go through every fucking thing. We're the ones that are putting our health and our life at risk. They just get the fun release. And that's literally it. And while we're on the subject, why are dad bods so not only accepted, but admired? And yet, the women who actually grow the humans and their bodies are going through all of the shifts and hormones and changes, and like it is a lot of work, right? But is a mom bod accepted? Celebrated? Hell no, it's not. No, it's glorified to bounce back right after you have a baby. Fucking stop it. Just stop it. Anyway, so those are all issues. And that's kind of a bigger topic is going over the birth control thing and kids and no kids and all of that. And that's not really the point of this, but it is kind of part of it. So I did want to at least mention and recognize it is a problem. But I will say this as well. This is really the the major part of the topic is getting dismissed in healthcare. And I have seen it and experienced it personally on both sides. And that is, sorry, I need to get better about like actually looking at the camera. I try. Sometimes I definitely fail. Um, anyway, I have, I'm not going to go through all of my medical stuff, but I have a lot of chronic and severe medical problems exacerbated by the fact that I have allergies and can't take medications for anything. So I can't like alleviate some stuff. And that is extremely difficult to deal with. I have been to so many doctors and so many specialists, and they all, if I'm not outright dismissed, like they take one look at me and like, well, you don't look sick. Mm, you went through all that schooling to say that? To think that that's, okay. Love that for all of us. And that, like, how do you make that assessment, that judgment just by looking at somebody? Like, a little makeup goes a long way. It really does. And so does masking. Because, yeah, that's, I don't know what to tell you. If you have the flu, you are going to look more sick than if you have chronic medical conditions. It does show to us, the people that have it, maybe more so than the people on the outside that don't recognize what looks different about you, or um, maybe the more subtle things, because if you have the flu, you're obviously going to have a more obvious kind of sickness where you're like snotty and fever and chills and things that are more easily identifiable on the outside. And so yeah, anyway, it's extremely frustrating to be so dismissed, especially because it's already such a horrible experience, and to be stonewalled like that is terrible. And when you find someone that actually at least wants to help you, it is nice to have that kind of support and validation. Like, okay, so somebody actually gives a shit. This is nice. A lot of doctors, they only try to give you medications because that's what they're taught. A lot of money in that with the whole industry. But that's another rabbit hole. And it's a problem. It is a problem. But the ones that are really in it to try to be healers and helpers, they tend to go beyond like, okay, I can't medicate you. So let's try to figure something out here that will help you get through life. And that's always nice because it's really nice when someone actually that's supposed to care does care. You can always tell when somebody is in it for the title and the money, and that is unfortunate. But it's already hard enough to try to navigate life with disabilities. It's also hard to accept the fact that you have disabilities. It's hard to go through like everything. You're still expected to go through all the n normal stuff. You still are expected to work full time and pay all those bills. And to go on disability is extremely difficult. And so employers might also say that they are, they will hire people with disabilities and they'll be, I don't know, understanding of the disability. It's never the case. In my experience, and from what if you are lucky enough to have an employer that actually cares about your disabilities, your medical stuff, whatever, you are very lucky because that is so rare. So rare. I have definitely never experienced it. They don't give a shit because they just want the worker bees. It's like the companies that don't want to hire moms to young kids, or if you are, they'll even ask in interviews sometimes if you're even considering getting pregnant anytime soon because they they know that mom is the one typically to have to leave to take care of the sick child or pick them up early or whatever. Like the fallback is always mom, and employers know that. So they don't want to hire. if that potential's there because they just want the worker bee to just like only work and that's it. No personal life matters. Nothing outside of that matters. Or they act like they care up until you hit the end of your days of what they allot you to have. Then it's a problem. Then your time and attendance is an issue. And that includes mental health as well. Hi, I have both. So I'm neurodivergent, and this I don't mind sharing. I don't mind sharing the chronic stuff either, but I'm not going through all of it. It's just too much. But my neurodivergence is I have severe calculia. I have math issues. And I'm dyslexic and autistic. So those are my things. And I only recently was like officially able to do the autism one with a like a a therapist and all that. I did like the home assessments whenever I was going to university. I don't even remember what sparked me to do it, where I was like, damn, this actually seems super fitting. Let me find some assessments here. And I don't remember if I found the assessments through school or if I found it through my own research. I don't remember, but it was a lot. It took a long time to get through it all. And even that came back like you're kind of barely even high functioning. And the write up, the overview, whatever, it really, really made sense. And then talking to therapists about it as well has been really helpful and kind of, again, validating because there's so many people that are just immediately like, they'll take a look at you like, no, you're not. Like, do people not know? Do people not know what it is? Do they just have like the most, because typically in movies, the only thing that's really a representation is the extreme cases. And that seems to be pretty much it. So maybe they just don't know and don't really care to look into it. But it's still harmful because it's it's just not only do you have to deal with those kind of stereotypes and getting dismissed and nobody really giving a shit, but even that's not as bad as still having to navigate the world with everyone else that's not experiencing it like you are. It is a whole other playing field when you're neurodivergent than how society is for everyone else. And you're expected to still be like everybody else. You're expected to be neurotypical. You're expected to be healthy. And truly, the world does not care. So you have to learn how to navigate the world along with what you're going through because you can't just pretend like it's not an issue. It doesn't really work that way. You can push through as much as possible. And there's a lot that we have to push through. There's a lot that we have to mask. There's a lot that we have to pretend like it's not as bad as it actually is. There's a lot of times where it is so much worse internally than we let others know because, first of all, it doesn't feel like they ever really care. And if they do, they can't do anything about it. And if it's at the workplace, that's even more difficult because even if you have coworkers that are really sweet and empathetic and like if you're really struggling today, you need to take care of yourself and they're empathetic and that is amazing, but the company doesn't care. Again, if you are hitting your limit on your time and attendance, that's it for you, babes. And that's just the world that we live in right now, at least in the States. Hopefully it's better in other places. I don't actually know. But it's very difficult to find jobs that align with our needs. I haven't found one yet. I don't hate the job that I have now, but it is extremely difficult, and working in mental health is very high stress. And it's very, very, very overstimulating all day and very draining energetically as well. And I think having like these spiritually kind of gifts, some people would say, call it that. I don't know if I want to call it that. That makes it more difficult. Energy sensitive, little woo-woo stuff happening with the, you know, it's just, it's a lot. So, anyway, I would love to get to a point where my business is enough to pay everything I needed to pay for. That's my dream. I do like the aspect of, um, like working with good coworkers is really nice to see that some of society is really great. And feeling like you're making a difference is amazing. And doing something that is helpful is really amazing. And when you're getting good feedback, that is so, so nice to have. It's not that doing, normal kind of work is the worst thing ever, but it is incredibly challenging. And I wish that we could fix it and change it. And even if you're trying to get an FMLA, which is like a federal thing to say, like, hey, I have these diagnosed disabilities and problems, so I can't work like everybody else. It takes, I, I think it's a year, or maybe each company's different. I honestly don't know until it can even start. It's like, oh, okay. So we're expected to be able to put everything on pause until this can be a go. That's awesome. Thanks for that. Because if we could put this stuff on pause, we would never unpause it. People really, really, really don't understand what it's like. And a lot of people are like, oh, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I'm not that nice. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am not that nice. I absolutely would. I absolutely would. I want people who have no empathy, sympathy, whatever, to get put in to experience it. Because that's maybe the only way that they'll learn. Maybe that's the only way that they'll finally freaking care. But anyway, it might be difficult to put yourself into someone else's shoes, but it shouldn't be difficult to not want good people to suffer. I don't want good people to suffer. That shouldn't be difficult. And if it is, therapy for sure, very helpful with navigating that. Highly recommend for everyone's sake. But moving on, because I don't want this to be a really, really long kind of episode, like I said. So really just kind of putting it out there as first first an acknowledgement, but also we need to do more, like collectively with trying to help each other out and also raising the awareness because people don't seem to understand how hard it is. And it's not just a matter of, well, just suck it up and push yourself up by your bootstraps. Anyway, like, yeah, we do have to do that. And for us, it's like you truly don't understand what that means on when it comes to medical stuff, if that's your go-to. Um, and I also think that regardless, if that's your thing, is like you love to work, you live to work, and even if you think about retirement and you're like, hell no, even when I retire, I'm still gonna have like something part-time. I'm still gonna do something. I still need to get out of the house and like work. Okay, you should be allowed to do that. Everyone who doesn't live to work should also be allowed to not have to do that. Um, but so many people are in survival mode because the cost of living is so atrocious that there's no alternative. And even if like you make more money than you ever have, you're most of us still are struggling just to get by, just to pay for the groceries, pay for the bills, and like just to get by. Even buying like cheap clothes and stuff like that. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And I don't think it's any way to live. I don't live to work. I struggle tremendously with the work that I have had to do, even when it is um, not a terrible position, but working off someone's schedules and having the days where I'm having like extra difficulties, things like that. It would be really great if you didn't have to worry about getting fired for being like, I don't have it in me today. Um, and that's not on laziness. It's really not. That's on burnout and having legitimate medical problems. And even just being able to take a mental health day should be fine. So weird. Society's so fucking weird. Like, why do people think that that's supposed to be life, is working it away? It's not. It's weird, unless that's what you want to do. And the super rich, they don't seem to really deal with it in that way. And if you love what you do, that also makes a difference. If you love it and you can kind of work it within your own capacity, that makes a huge difference. Would love to be able to get to that point, and it can also be difficult to tell yourself to just relax. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take time. It's good to do self-care. It's good to have a moment. It's good to do things that you enjoy doing. And super important to have fun in life. And that's something that we kind of miss out on and we need to get better at is reintroducing play and having more fun. So, what is it that you really enjoy? Find those things and do those things as often as you can. If you can't back away from the obligations, because same, at least try to add in the good stuff. And that can be hard too, because it feels like everything else is a chore. It is difficult. It's just adding on something else to your plate. Or it feels like that in the beginning, but then you start to do it and then it's like, oh, wait, this is actually nice. Like going for a walk outside. I love doing that. And I would like to be doing that much more often. But anyway, if you are comfortable sharing your own experience with your mental health, physical health, and the battles that you have faced, I do encourage, as long as you're comfortable sharing it. And of course, I highly encourage you finding at least a therapist or mental health coach, something along those lines that aligns well with you and can help you work through dealing with the world. And yeah, it really sucks that things are the way that they are. Hopefully they'll change, but it I think sharing our own stories, it is helpful because it does help raise awareness and it does show other people that are going through similar that you're not alone in it. And even people that is connected to someone that's going through something similar can say, like, oh, yeah, like they're going through this too. And it's a good learning thing as well, trying to learn from each other on, well, how do you navigate your issues? What have you dealt with? How did you find help? How did you deal with this and deal with that aspect? And um, I don't know, maybe something like that is something to kind of explore again here, but I think for now I want to kind of leave it at that and just again highly encourage you if you're comfortable to share your own experiences with it as far as you're comfortable doing. And definitely not to give up. And don't let people invalidate you or dismiss you or be really shitty because unfortunately that seems to be the norm and it needs to stop. We have to get better about standing up for ourselves and be our own advocate. You have to be your own advocate, unfortunately. And that can be very difficult. It is great to have a battle buddy and someone that will also advocate for you, especially when you get to the point of just giving up. You give up on trying to get help from medical professionals on, like, I will share my most recent, I have some heart issues and um, I'm just kind of at a point where I just like, they just want to medicate and I can't. So they don't know what to do. And I'm just like, okay, you just shut down because not surprised. So, um, I definitely understand that it can be very difficult to continue to be your own advocate with things, but even if you need to take a break, don't give up on yourself and looking for alternatives yourself as well, like doing your own research and looking into other people's stories and what they've done. But I want to also warn against taking anything without maybe asking your primary, at least someone that feels right. Because even with natural supplements, things like that, if you start altering things that didn't need to be altered, that can be a problem. And some people have experienced really bad issues just trying to take supplements that they didn't actually need to take. And they start having like liver failure, kidney failure, like allergic reactions, and they'll mess with their hormones and then their body's not producing that naturally anymore. And it can be a big problem. So be very careful. And also, the quality is extremely important. Extremely important. So just because an influencer is trying to sell you something that they're getting paid to sell you, even if they say that they had really great results with it, that doesn't mean that that's going to be the same for you. And it doesn't mean that that was regulated, FDA approved, checked out. It could be literally some supplement that somebody makes in their house and you don't even know how clean it is. So, yeah, be careful with what you buy, what you put into your body, and also taking care of yourself again, drinking lots of water and eating healthy foods. Try to avoid processed foods and sugar, at least like the bad sugars. Honey, maple syrup, stuff like that is easier for the body. Um, but yeah, anyway, try to take care of yourself. Do your little health walks, your little hawker walks, whatever you want to call it, and anything to help that's not harmful. Highly recommend at least considering it. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Hopefully, this was not terrible, but I definitely understand how shitty it is. So, we just got to keep trying. But anyway, if you would like to follow the show or, in other platforms or whatever, if you have any requests, questions, comments, everything is linked in the show notes. And you can also check out on my website, vikingwitch.shop. I have some some spicy workshops. I need to add some other kind of workshops as well. That is a do at your own pace and this is not graded. It's not with other people. It's very private. And it is like signing up for a class. So it is one per person. So if you're buying it for someone else, you would have to put in their email for them to access it from their own email. You can't change it over to somebody else. I also have, as of right now, I have some coaching offerings as well and some exclusive merch. And last time I checked, not everything was loading, and I don't know why. I need to look into that. Hopefully it works now. It's fun. It's fun stuff. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to check any of that out, highly recommend. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. Bye.